Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It is such a joy to be here with you guys today. We have a lot to talk about. I'm so happy to be back after basically a month of being away. Yeah, it was a very eventful month, lots of beautiful family events happening, and it was beautiful. It was a very beautiful month, but I'm so happy to be back and be able to do this on Sundays with you guys. I missed you guys. We have a lot to talk about, guys. Boy, are we in a beautiful moment right now, and I hope that all of you are in peace. I hope you guys are in deep harmony with yourself and you are able to meditate and connect with yourself in a way that is healing. And I know a lot of people are going through struggling moments right now, but let's talk about that because we got a lot to talk about. So before I begin, I'd love to give a shout out to everybody that's here on the Zoom. Thank you so much for registering for the event. Let me go ahead and share this with people. Anybody wants to join us? There we go. Yes, hello. Okay, perfect. So as always, if you guys have questions, those of you that are in the Zoom can participate live with me. You are welcome to ask your questions and participate here. You can add your questions into the chat, or I'll be answering them. If you can put them in capital letters so I can make sure that they are, I can find them because sometimes there's a lot of comments. Yeah, so today, guys, let's get started. We're going to talk a lot about, I want to talk about a couple topics, but one topic in particular that is going to be essential. So as you know, right now, we are in period 9 that we just started. This is the last year of the last era, year 1. So this is the year 9. Year 1 is next year. Okay, so year 1 in this period of this new era of time that we're beginning is going to be until 2027, the most transformational years that humanity has experienced. Well, in our timeline, it's going to be one of the most magnificent transformational times for us as a human race. What does that mean? The way I see is that we have to, in a way, connect more deeply with ourselves. The process of coming in harmony with nature, coming in harmony with yourself, is not just a process of we're kind of doing some spiritual work and we're trying to achieve and check off some list. We are co-creating this world. We are co-creating the human experience. And when we really understand that and the level of responsibility, the level of love, cause and effect that is, the result of that, this is where we start to shift our perception and we begin to move out of this illusion. We are in illusion. We are in a dream state, believing that we are in a state of suffering, that we must exist in survival. You see, that is the biggest lie of our existence. Okay, we have been brainwashed by science, which was kind of focusing on creating and working together with other systems of our societal building, structuring of our society for a very long time in order to make us believe that survival is part of our biology. It's that we're like animals. But in reality, it's because we don't understand the animal kingdom. We don't understand the natural systems of this world ourselves. We are barely learning about them. In reality, the natural animal kingdom and the kingdom of or other organisms in this universe are not focused on, they're not focused on surviving in a way that it's animalistic and parasitic. They are surviving in harmony. Even animals know that when they need to eat something, they eat enough and they don't overconsume, right? There's nothing that comes out of harmony in these natural systems. And that is an intelligence, that is a deep connection to the self that we need to learn as a human race. We've forgotten that. And we forgot that because we are completely disconnected from ourselves and we're connected to this natural order. So when I say that we are co-creating reality, it comes from the core inside out, how we are creating this reality. We are literally co-creating based on how we understand harmony internal to ourselves, how we cultivate harmony with ourselves on a daily basis. And the invitation is really, at this time, the most important part of this transformation of the world is moving away from imbalanced, deharmonious states, desensitized states of consciousness. Okay, well, actually, consciousness barely even emerges from something that is completely disconnected from itself, right? So we go from this completely robotic state of reactionary survival, mindless, cyclical survival, into a state of harmonious co-creation, intentional co-creation. And that intention is something that we're learning as a human race, because we're beginning to understand this interconnectedness that we are with one another. We're interconnected with each other. We're connected with nature, with every single system, that we are interconnected through a web of consciousness. And so we become desensitized to that, and we are following in the direction of destruction of humanity, destruction of this planet. So the invitation is really that we begin to really take awareness of that. And the healing that we're doing, the becoming whole that we're doing, is to open our eyes wide to the cause and effect of our existence on every level. Okay? Emotional, psychological, biochemical, and etheric. Why? Because your body is an entire universe that is a fractal of this construct. And you are not disconnected from anything. You are not disconnected from anything. In fact, you are everything. And people that are feeling suffering right now, depression, desperation, anxiety, disconnect, we have just fallen asleep, and it's intensified. That separation is intensifying at this time for those of you that need to come back to that right order, come back into the body, come back into that harmonic reconnection. So anytime that we are existing in this state of survival, this unconscious, cyclical, repetitive pattern, see, survival in this model of disconnect is basically repetition of old models of existing and coexisting. And the problem with that, as we see our world today, is that we become disconnected from, the cause and effect of our actions. We have fallen into a deep sleep of overconsumption. We have fallen into a deep sleep of disconnect from the natural world, and we don't even know what we feel. We can't even identify. We don't want to feel. We have become, completely fearful of feeling. And actually, the cure and the medicine of this world is to feel, to deeply feel your reality, to deeply feel the truths of this world, even the difficult things of this world, from a non-judgmental observation. Why non-judgmental? Not because it's some kind of ethical moral structure. No, because the reality, and when the human matures, your perception begins to expand in such a way that you see the bigger picture of things. Even those of us that are going through desperate, terrible states of suffering, there is beauty, there is expansion, there is opportunity, there is growth in those deaths that we experience as a human race. But another thing that we have been taught, in addition to disconnecting from nature and also disassociating from our emotions, is to believe that there is pain and suffering. It's completely something that we have to hold on to and attach. In reality, pain and suffering is something that we have to proactively transmute into beauty. We have to learn to see the beauty in the suffering and the pain that we have in our life experiences in order to utilize. That's the alchemical process. What does it mean to turn something into beauty? Is to turn it into love. And every single painful experience that we have, we think that by processing and being in the present moment, we're completely desensitized and disconnected from other people's suffering. But in fact, you learn to feel it even deeper. You learn to really sit with those challenging situations that are happening in the world around us. And actually, the only way that we are able to hold space for this other people going through suffering in this world that we are becoming aware of now is by learning how to cultivate that ability to feel deeply, not to avoid. So there's a difference between how we feel our emotions, and the way that we have currently learned is to avoid, to run away, to not feel, to try to soften the feelings, those uncomfortable feelings and emotions. And what we don't understand is in the internal worlds, down to the DNA, the moment that we start to move away from feeling and emotion, it is the destruction of your DNA. Okay, that's really how deep this process is functioning. Our DNA being one of the most potent, valuable sources of information. It's the source code of creation. But essentially, that DNA becomes it becomes destroyed eventually, right? And so, in this kind of silent eugenics event that is happening, it's a very background thing that not many people realize. But all of this social engineering, all of the manipulation of your emotions, the desensitization of yourself, your emotions, your connections, and all of the social engineering behind that, which is very deep. Many of you don't even realize why you feel the way you feel when you do feel this way. We fall asleep and we don't realize the impact of our environment on our subconscious mind because we're very disconnected from the subconscious. And the subconscious mind is essentially the divine feminine that has been suppressed, that has been hidden for centuries now. For this is the era in which we have been cycling through. Everything is cyclical. So, it's not like there's a right or wrong. It's just that we have been going through a shadow aspect of the divine feminine for most of our existence on this planet. And that's changing now. And the emergence of the divine feminine is the healing of many key elements of co-creation of humanity, which we've been missing. One of those being in harmony with nature, which is being connected to the natural cycles of life and death, which in the old model, we have been taught to fear, we have been programmed to run away from, to avoid. So this requires a restructuring of your nervous system in a way that has never been shown to humanity. It's never been modeled. We are restructuring, and remember that you have your nervous system, but you're a multidimensional bioelectrical geometric structure of light. That's really what you are. You are a bioelectrical structure of light, which is a holographic projection from your DNA. So actually, the cultivation and the working of our DNA is one of the most important things. But this is just to bring your awareness to that. Doesn't mean we're going to, direct our lives to focusing on DNA and no. This is just an overall understanding of what we're going to, why we are working on the things that we're working on. Because the bottom line is when we train ourselves to come into the present moment, you begin to heal the DNA structure. That's the thing. The present moment is not just a spiritual or, let's say, just a peaceful moment. It is the restructuring of your genetic lineage and all the damage that has been done to your genetic memory system for centuries and generations. So when you become aware of yourself and you start to really begin to, change these habits of reactionary survival mechanisms that we have programmed in the nervous system, you have it programmed in your muscle system and your etheric body. Okay, so what happens with this kind of process? This constant parasitism, first of all, towards the self, because, we have become separate from the whole. First we separate from the source, right? Separate from the source, go through the mother's womb and take on all of the emotional memories of that process of the womb and then coming into the life. Then throughout the life, we start to disconnect more. The memory, the connection to the source becomes less and less, thinner and thinner. Our source cord becomes contracted. Our energy field becomes contracted. Our Merkaba starts to point in the other direction of the material realm. Right? So the Merkaba, the energy system, starts to begin the process of energy, life force depletion, rather than co-creation and that centripetal spin. So this process is passed down through generations, and it's part of the reason why you're incarnate at this time, which is, you know, I have to say that all of you souls that are incarnating in this time really are very wise, powerful soul beings beyond what you think. You know, don't fall asleep in believing this matrix and the construct of this matrix, because what you are here and what you're doing here as a human organism experiencing and exploring the potential of this three-dimensional realm is you are really going through a very physical experience, something that it feels. We have the illusion of physicality through the sensations, and there's a lot to master here. Those of you that can alchemize and master your emotions, that begin to transmute a moment of anger into a moment of peace and harmony within yourself, you know, that kind of alchemy is the complete restructuring of matter into light. Okay, so you're transmuting matter into light in such a way. This is the alchemy that you guys are doing here. And this resonates in many dimensions, not just on this planet dimension, this dimension in which you've incarnated. Your actions on this dimensional plane are affecting all the dimensions in which you exist. And every night during dream state, you navigate those dimensional planes. You are living simultaneous lives, many millions of simultaneous lives that you tap into. Okay. When I was a child, I had very psychic already, but having dreams of different planets and different worlds, different lives that I was living simultaneously. And I would continue to live an entire life in these other dimensions. I would have these, every time in my dream state, I would wake up consciousness in that dimension, and then I would continue that life in that dimension. And then maybe a month would pass by, and then I would dream again, and I would continue the life in that dimension. Okay, and what we realize is during meditation, when you begin to deprogram your core belief systems, you begin to understand the connection between those lifetimes and this lifetime, what's being mirrored. See, past and future lifetimes are not in the past or the future as we understand them. They are all occurring simultaneously in this moment. And when we wake up consciousness, we can tap into those lifetimes in order to learn faster and to remember. Learning really is bioelectrically, it's the expansion of your energy field. Okay, so when you learn something, in the same way that your neural pathway is looking for new connections, your entire etheric energy body is also merging through the portal of your DNA to other dimensional planes, which we pool information in from. You can pool information. And so we can pool information about technology, healing, regeneration, an understanding of regeneration systems, so much, infinite amounts of information that are available for you. This is the organic technology that we need to focus on, you know, trying to cultivate, okay? But all of that starts with the basic tools, coming back to your body. If you are avoiding feeling any emotion, you're blocking your ability to access any of these dimensional planes. Chances are you don't even remember your dreams. Chances are you don't dream, or you believe you don't dream. But there isn't a single human on this planet that doesn't dream, because we are multidimensional. So we are, in essence, we are remembering who we are, and that is accelerating. That remembrance is accelerating at this time because this organism called the planet Earth, which is also ascending in the same way that we are, everything is ascending all the time. We are coming into harmony, and the more in harmony we come with the ascension of this planet Earth, the more we recover memory, and the more harmonious the experience of life becomes, your everyday life experience. So we when we come into this planet Earth, we have a series of agreements that are made as a result of our genetic lineage, right? So we have many generations. And again, when I talk about this, please understand this is all simultaneous. So there is no really death. Okay, there's our ancestors are transitioning and moving through a network of light, which we are all a part of. So basically, when someone transitions, their light moves from this dimension just into the next dimension, into another dimension, and we have the access to that communication, that interaction, very available to us. Okay, when we know how to use that. So that being said, all of our ancestors are existing in our energy field. Okay, all the lives that we've had, and all of the what we think of as past lives are actually simultaneously accessible portals to these different points of information in our field. Everything exists in our field. We are not going anywhere to access this information. It's in your body. Okay, so you are many toroidal fields. Each of these toroidal fields is essentially a different dimension. Every dimension is linked to a DNA strand, okay? And that goes into a deeper complexity. But every DNA strand is another quantum realm. It's like a spiral DNA strand of portals that allows you to access information. Okay, everything is fractal in its core architectural construct. The more we start thinking in the model of fractals, the more we understand these complex models in which we are coexisting. And the purpose of this information is really to help you move away from fear, move away from confusion, you move away from feeling disconnected. The more you know yourself, you understand how you function, the easier it is for you to come into harmony with this construct. Okay, so through our DNA, we access in all of our ancestors. So anytime that we're healing, for example, anytime that we're remembering a trauma that we're holding and that we keep repeating, but we can't seem to break, we have encoded in the nervous system chemically, we're addicted to that structure of thought form. Thought forms are not what you think they are. Thought forms are not just, passing little insignificant clouds. Thought forms are data that's encoded and programmed biochemically in the fascia of your body and etherically in your energy system. Okay, the fascia, that's one thing I want to talk about. A couple of things. Fascia and the pineal gland today, because the fascia really holds bioelectrical memory in the body, and it's responsible for energy moving fluidly through the body. Okay, so if we don't have nice hydrated fascia that is moving light and energy through the body in a nice cyclical manner, remember cosmic cyclical cycles, your entire body is a universe, the entire universe is spinning and spiraling, and you are a universe. If your universe is not spiraling and moving fluidly through this life force, you have illnesses, you have depression, you have suicidal thought forms, you have parasites, a lot of fearful, very difficult to interact with the world outside of you, and you feel separate. So another big program that I want to address is that the one that I don't belong, and I don't belong here, basically. Okay, this is another major psychological operation to make you believe that you don't belong here. And this is something that we have to break. I hear it a lot in the spiritual community, because we think that you know, we are from another planet or something like this. But that is true, but you're more than that. And the fact that you're more than that, you are all and nothing. You're many starseed lineages in your DNA. You are everything. The real maturing and the real graduation is to understand that you are everything, and you have everything encoded in your DNA, and to learn to have a regulated nervous system that can only happen with the absolute acceptance. And that means not avoiding, resisting any aspect of your human experience. Okay, so the alchemy can only happen when you truly accept your experience, where you are right here, right now. When you accept yourself, that's when you can change anything. You can see if you need to change it or not change it, because right now, for most of us, our belief systems are kind of convoluted. We're confused. And we're confused because we believe in everything being black and white. So part of what the human race is now moving through is moving away from this dualistic perception that everything is black and white into this unity consciousness, which is not just a fantasy of having spiritual communities or having groups of people. No, we're talking about you becoming the whole. That's unity consciousness. You see yourself as the animals kingdom, as the energy kingdom, the element kingdom, human, all the humans on this planet. You see yourself as them. You see yourself as all the alien races that exist through us. You see yourself as the many dimensions and other higher systems, organized systems of consciousness. That's the true graduation. And the human in this temporary life, we're remembering that. Through hypnotherapy, a lot of you are remembering your past lives. You're recovering those memories. It's really important. But even through meditation, you can begin through the emotional body, right, to recover those memories. So we want to recover the memories because that is awareness. Okay, so when you become aware of what you're avoiding in your body, so whatever you're resisting, that's where the suffering is going to be. So whatever you're resisting in your body is creating blockages of life force in your system. Okay, so the fascia has to be nice and irrigated, plump, luscious moving of light, and the majority of this fascia system, it's like a crystalline liquid structure of light in your body that we have to maintain. So drinking a lot of water, hydrating is essential, but also listening, being very connected to your body with what you need in order to truly nourish it. Nourishment is etheric, emotional, and then of course in the physical matter, all the nutrients, the minerals, the vitamins, all of those nutrients that we receive from our environment, whether that's food, whether that's sunlight, nature, coming into harmonic order. These are all systems that have to be addressed. But the majority of the harmony in the body is created by really creating a regulated nervous system in order to create a homeostasis in the body, that all of these different systems are intercommunicating. The problem is that when we are in a state of resistance, we block intercommunication. So a lot of people have throat chakra blockages. Okay, they cannot communicate, they cannot express. And I was mentioning in a class this week, I can't remember which one, but our throat chakra is a sexual organ, much like the womb. Okay, so we have a lot of sexual systems, sexuality, sexual systems in our body, organic systems. We're not talking about the pleasure aspect. We're talking about the biomechanical aspect of sexuality, which is the creation process. It's the creative engine of our organisms. We have many of those sexual systems in our body. One of them being the womb, which is where we create life into this world. Okay, the throat, where we create sound, vocal cords. We are literally creating and affecting this dimensional realm with the words that we speak. That's a frequency medicine in this world. And through the pineal gland, which is another system of creation, where we affect the etheric realm with our thoughts and our emotions, and also how we access this bioelectrical memory when we create natural DMT. It's through the pineal gland, through the proper cycling of life force through the body. This is where we can leave the body and we astral project into many dimensional layers. Okay, so this is very important, right? And the heart being it's not sexual. Those are sexual in the physical dimension, but the heart is operating on another dimensional layer of creation. Okay, so that's why the heart is the alchemical center for the human organism. Okay, so the sexual centers that I mentioned are basically all of which are to the mastery of the physical world. Okay, they help us engage and exchange with the physical world. The heart works on coherent frequency, which interconnects you with everything. And you unlock that coherence by balancing these other systems of the body. So, I was talking about this in the intuitive healing, the intuition this week. We had a class. It was fantastic. But essentially, the healing of the divine feminine, which is occurring now, is the healing of these sexual systems in our organism. And I'm not talking about women or specifically men. It's both, right? Both. The female and male is learning how to work with all of these creative systems in their body and bringing them into harmony. This is information that has been suppressed, hidden, eradicated from our world, because this is how you control a human is you disinform them on how they function. You disinform them on how essentially what is their power. Our power is really in the relearning of what we are. And we are very much a multidimensional system of co-creation that is powerful beyond anything that you have been shown. There are little glimpses of that in fantasy in this world, right? Like films and movies that show you. And then we have, of course, the examples of ascended masters like Jesus, for example, right? And so this Christ consciousness, and of course the Virgin Mary, the divine feminine, which is something that has been pretty much eradicated from history, but the nurturing of our feminine energy is essentially the connection to the oracle, which we all have, the oracle. And that oracle is the intuition, the intuitive mind. The intuitive mind is proactively working by cultivating DMT and expanding and clearing the pineal gland. Because one of the things that's been happening is that our pineal gland has become not only calcified, but completely blocked and not exercised. When you don't utilize your intuition, your pineal gland becomes atrophied, basically, or disconnected from those abilities. And the true health of the human is the ability to cultivate higher faculties. The human comes into harmonic order when we use higher faculties. Okay, so we've been severed from that. We've burned witches. We've eliminated texts, sacred texts of all this ancient information. Religion has been completely, inverted and manipulated in order to hide the real information that is necessary for humanity to create a spiritual connection. And so these are things that we have to, in a sense, recover our understanding. So the pineal gland, first of all, basic daily meditation in order to begin to build gray matter in the brain. And you see, the building of gray matter, our brains should be very fluffy, fatty systems. very full of this very let's say I don't want to use the word like liquid like, very saturated and fat and juicy. That's how the brain should be. Okay, but our brain, unfortunately, because of technology, because of the food that we eat, because we don't, drink enough water or nourish the system, we don't meditate, all of these things dry up the fascia and the ability to move energy through the body. Okay, so you are mostly made of water because you're bioelectrical. So if we are not maintaining this kind of nourished system in the body, we begin to dry up. We dry up from the inside out, right? So and when I say drying up, we're drying up energetically, and we are blocking bioelectrically how the body functions. In the etheric body, this is the centrifugal way of moving the body, everything moving out, everything depleting. We are externalizing our attention and our life force. The opposite of that is to become centripetal. Okay, so a couple things happen when you start to learn how to manage your emotions, create stillness in your mind, quiet the survival mechanisms, and the monkey mind that wants to talk, judge, survive all the time, to lovingly nurture that part to come into a nice, quiet, safe state. This is what meditation is for. And we cultivate that through meditations like Vipassana, where you're cultivating the 0 point. The 0 point is the point of observation, non-judgmental observation. So non-judgmental observation is not just simply a psychological state or an emotional state. It's an entire restructuring of your bioelectrical light body. Because when you start to cultivate that, you begin to open the pathways of life force that move through your body. And so, and then another way to do that is obviously spending a lot of time in nature. Right, really spending time in nature in order to start fixing the circadian rhythms of the organs, the circadian rhythms of, our sleep cycles. Because your body is so interconnected with this physical world that every hour of the day, depending on which hemisphere you live on, is regenerating at different hours of the day, because the sunlight provides different rays of frequency. Okay, so the rainbow spectrum of light, the sun has all of them, not just the visible spectrum of light. It has all spectrums of frequency. And so throughout the day, different spectrums of light from the sun are available to us. And so the human body is regenerating those parts by absorbing those rays of light in the body. And you don't need to be out in the sun for this to happen. This is an energetic system in the entire network of energy. Okay, but you can imagine people that don't spend any time at all in the sun have problems, right? Because they're super disconnected from that. They're completely disconnected from nature. So, we have intestinal blockages, autoimmune disease, number one most rampant problem, autoimmune diseases, for many reasons: psychological separation, emotional disconnect completely, and then etheric. Etheric trauma and etheric pain is the disconnect of nature. So to heal the etheric body, always come back into nature, right? And then everything else comes back into order. So throughout the day, the different organs of your body begin to regenerate properly. And then you come into this, your eating cycles come back into order. Otherwise, our eating cycles are a mess. And we also connect with what the body is really needing. So the body will ask us what it needs by providing, cravings. But I'm not talking about addictions to sugar or addictions to toxins and cookies and chips and things like this, because those are the parasites that are eating for survival, right? So psychologically, when we're disconnected from these natural systems, we process through survival, which is completely disconnected. And it's it's this intelligence. There's a biointelligence that goes towards the destruction of DNA. These are the real parasites. The real parasites are actually working in the subconscious layers of our body, in the subconscious etheric realms of our body. So we cultivate entities and parasites. Okay, so when I'm working with people in DNA reprogramming, and we start to notice that, oh, we don't feel safe the majority of the time, how does that body look like in the etheric realm? They have big parasites connected to the body, energetic in the etheric body, right? And so these parasites are thought forms first, that have then crystallized into the organic system of energy exchange. And so whenever we start to feel like, fearful, every single organ is connected to emotions. You can study that. I share that information pretty often. But every time that we start to completely disconnect from, what we're feeling, we begin to develop parasites over time. And these parasites drive our emotions. They drive our actions. They either make us depressed or sleepy. They stimulate emotions because we're not in control. So those emotions make us behave in certain ways and do things that are against the harmony of this organism. So all of these imbalanced states, as we begin to understand, first of all, we can clear them. We can, in this moment right now, begin to reverse that damage, begin to change that state. So if you come back into your body, and for some of you, it's going to feel very difficult to come back into your body. Over the last couple years, it's almost as if we went through a dark fog, thick fog of energy, where it felt really difficult to come into the body. It felt difficult to sit and meditate. Okay. And the invitation was, first of all, to be really aware of your external realm and what you're creating externally, but to really practice on coming back into the body. Those of you that were able to come back into the body experienced quick, massive shifts and downloads of information. And so that's what's happening now. And as much as I don't like to promote forceful moving towards things, at this time, this energy, this collective energy is really inviting us to come into that place of sacred union with yourself. Because as you felt in the last couple of years, it was difficult, and it will become more difficult. And the reason why is because right now we don't really realize how technology is going to change our world very quickly. These are things, see, what happens is that these shadow government and shadow agendas happen while we're distracted, right? While we're shopping, watching TV, avoiding our emotions, running away, trying to feel good in our lives. All of those time-consuming avoidances that we have. In the meantime, these systems are proactively been building things. So right now, all this stuff is going to start coming out until 2027. Okay, major technologies, major changes. So we don't want to be sleeping. We want to be awake. And the invitation is to come into your body. If you have not been in your body for a long time, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Be okay with temporary discomforts. Be okay with this uncomfortable feeling. Bring yourself into feeling the emotions that you haven't been wanting to feel for the past year, whatever it is that you're avoiding. Okay, so that's what Self-Love Sunday is really for, is we need to go and feel those emotions that we've been avoiding, because that's where your freedom and your free will lies. Okay, so as soon as you begin to feel that, you begin to shift. So let's talk about the pineal gland really quickly. The pineal gland, essentially, it's what I've been receiving as information this week, is that we need to focus on kind of cleaning up the pineal gland. What I see in the future as a result of people completely connecting to technologies, the blue light, and the patterns of frequency that are produced by all this artificial light is that it's really disrupting this pineal gland in a way that we are developing kind of a disease that we don't know. It's a spiritual disease that we're disconnected from the higher faculties. And we need to reverse that damage by exercising our intuition. Okay, so exercising your intuition should be something that you practice every moment of your day, not just when you're meditating or when you're in trouble and you need some direction or guidance. No, this is your entire life. The invitation is that you are so connected to your body that you're in communication with that. You're connected with your present moment, which opens up the worlds and the realms into your environment. You see, in ancient times, we had so many, all the documented stories through history about the connection with the divine, the connection with the animal kingdom, the animal realms, the interdimensional realms of spirits, and even alien species. That was something that was natural for humanity because we had highly developed our pineal gland. We didn't have all this technology. So we have a lot of, a lot of history of the gods. We were able to see gods, connect with gods, the gods, right? All the beings in the spirit realm, which we could see, we could interact with, we could communicate with. But what has happened over time is that we've destroyed that part of ourselves. And we've moved away from the etheric realms into the material realm. And the material realm is an illusion. That is the real illusion. We think that this world realm of spirits and consciousness and ETs is the illusion, but it's the other way around. The material realm is the illusion. And so what we are needing to heal right now, the invitation, is the damage that we've done to the operating system that allows you to see reality as it really is. Reality is interdimensional. Right now, you are surrounded by thousands of beings, entities of all shapes and sizes. Some things might scare you. Some things you might think are beautiful. We need to learn how to mature and cultivate the resilience to be able to see these things and maintain your connection to yourself without wanting to run away. Because what's happening now as we go into 2035, I have to say that number because it's an important year, is that the veil is going to thin and thin and thin more and more. More of you are going to have sightings and visions and seeing things and more connection to nature. And that will be manipulated by the shadow side. It's going to be manipulated in a way that it'll want to scare you and make you think that being connected to artificial intelligence is actually being in control of that. So you don't have to be scared by the things that you see or experience in the other realms. And that will be where there will be a development of a real paralysis and deconstruction of the pineal gland. Genetically, what does that do? It's the destruction of your DNA because you are designed to be multidimensional. You are designed to be etheric. Your blueprint as, blueprint, I don't really like that word because it's so like structured and we're way too complex for just that. But I would say, let's say the base architecture of your body is the etheric. You are more light and etheric than you are physical. So this actual shifting from the material into the etheric is really something that we want to cultivate at this time in a way that we are proactive. And so step number one, coming back into your body. Come back into your body. If you are avoiding being fully present, if you cannot immediately in this moment while listening to me connect to the back of your body and whatever's happening in the back of your body, you're sleeping. Okay, you're disconnected. Okay, so right now we should be aware of the entire body as a whole and be able to have this conversation. That's the level of agility, psychic agility that we need to begin to cultivate. the abilities that were presented to us by Jesus, the ability to change wine into water, to transmute matter, are available to you if you learn how to master and come back into this physical body. Why do we want to have those abilities? Because in this world, when we begin to work from a higher order, we can begin to change this world back into a balance. And all of us here, we have enough people here on this call. We have, I don't know, 250 people on the live, and then, we have 22 here in the room. Just us, this little group. By how you are really affecting and making your choices every day, you contribute to the changing of the timelines of the collective. Okay, so we all have to come to work. It's not a time for sleeping and escaping, because it's the future of our children. It's the world in which our children are going to live. And this is a pinnacle moment in which everything is being divulged and coming up to the surface to inform us of what's coming and where we can actually change things. We need to take into our hands the direction in which artificial intelligence is going right now. Okay? Because artificial intelligence is like, right now, it's like a wild horse that is just coming out in all of its expression. And right now, if it's going to be tamed by the shadow, it's going to be very difficult. If we fall asleep in the middle of that, we're just going to move back into this slavery and disconnect and disempowerment. If we wake up, we begin to apply this technology into the natural harmony of things. We need the real technology, so regenerative energy grid system. Those are the things that we've had since forever, since the ancient times, and yet have been hidden away in order for these more controlling systems to kind of create the illusion that we need to pay, and we have to survive to have these basic needs met. So our entire world is going to be revamped into a future that is highly spiritual, highly intentional, the activation of our higher faculties merged with technology in a way that is co-creative and harmonious. This is the end invitation. And I really want to share that with you, because we need a bigger picture. For me, if I don't have a bigger picture, I need to know how things work and how they're going to lead to this end in order to really make sense of what we're doing, to have a clear intention in our everyday existence. Many of us are going to not have jobs anymore, because the 9-to-5 jobs that we're used to will be taken over by technology. And this is not a good or bad thing, but it is the beginning of the shift of the human civilization into coming back into our harmonic order. And so another reason why meditation and coming into the 0 point is important right now, because your cultivation of the 0 point will allow you to activate the memory of yourself in these future past lives, with your gifts, with your understanding of the bigger picture of your existence, in order to anchor into this planet your purpose. Okay? And so you have many purposes. You know your purposes. One of them is healing your ancestral lineage, no longer suffering, coming back to that childlike state of co-creation, and then in that harmonious state, creating. Okay? So, but to create, you need to know, what are your tools? What are your tools? Each of you has a very unique frequency pattern of information that is a projection of your DNA history that you have been cultivating for many lifetimes and through the ancestral lineage, both terrestrial and interdimensional. And so what happens when you wake up, I began to receive downloads, information, understanding, and then I understood what is my entire life, all the trauma, pain, love, happiness, all culminated to the point of receiving and accessing this information to be able to be of service at some point in this historic time. So each of you has this same kind of intentional creation. And you can literally sit in a room and paint all day, and that will be the healing that you provide this world. Okay, so we're talking about higher level of understanding of what it is, because right now our model that we need to destroy is the idea that work, right? We have to work hard, we have to like do all these structured things, and actually that's changing, because to be in communion with nature is that you are in an intentional flow. You are intentionally using your life force in a regenerative manner, however that looks. Okay, so it's not about doing, it's about being, because actually to come into this purpose and to be of service, the real highest service is that you are moving your life force in a centripetal manner. Because the moment you start moving your life force in a centripetal manner, you begin to clean up the blockages in your energy body. You're anchoring this higher octave into the planet through your body. Okay, so you're like a battery of light that is charging life force into this planet. That is how you change global timelines. Okay, because it's as you clear your DNA. You see, the creation of the matrix comes from DNA. The holographic projection of this matrix is from DNA. So right now, we're working with a pool of information through the Akashic records, through the crown chakra. Each of us hold memories of all the lives of every human that has existed on this planet. We have that in our DNA. Each of you have a little sector of that. And then we are all interconnected. So as we clean up those ancestral programs, it's almost like it's like a dirty pipe that, gets cleaned, and then, clean water can kind of move through. And when I say clean water, I mean um, not manipulated infinite potential. Okay, because when you come into a construct, there's a certain aspect of manipulation, change, forming. We have to come into a certain shape, form, and then, we believe the construct, so we create personalities, identities, and that's a limitation of what we are. Really, when you start to crack the egg and you start to peel away those layers of what you've become as a result of the construct, can you actually see who you really are? And that's when you remember that you're all and nothing at the same time. So this 0 point is that clear water, you can say, or that infinite potential that is unmanipulated, in order for it to come in as it needs to go. Water just kind of moves into all the open crevices, right? In the same way light moves through you as your creative potential. And so when the human comes into the 0 point, love emerges. Love, love. Okay, so love being this unifying, the most powerful life force structure in the body. Love is a life force structure, because love is the opening of all of the contraction. It's the opening and expansion of resistance. And it's the fluid exchange with yourself and this external construct in many dimensions. So that state of love, that really coming into that divine love, allows you to hold space in the laws of the universe, letting people go through their learning processes as they need to go, respecting the learning processes of other people, and then honoring yours and really paying attention to yours, because that's what you can control at this time. Okay, so love, when we hold, you see, love is not just like you're going to feel this warm feeling towards yourself. We right now, our idea of love is coming from the illusion that it's romantic or mother-child love, this affection, right? So the love that we're talking about is all of that, but more, in that basically it's the complete absolute acceptance of yourself your perfections, your imperfections, this unconditional loving state. And that is how the light body expands. So the more that we come into this love, we come into harmonious geometrical harmony with nature. This is the cultivation of your Merkaba. And the cultivation of the Merkaba, which is one of many forms which we need to graduate into experiencing. That is the base form for the human that we have chosen in order to master the material elements, to bring all the elements of this planet through our body back into harmony, basically, because each element is encoded in your organs, in your chakra system, in how you move energy. Okay, so let's go into the meditation, guys. Let's get some of this. Let's do something. Let me jump into the questions. Nicholas, happy Sunday. We missed you. Missed you too, Nicholas. So good to see you. Linda, I'm very glad you are talking about this, Geraldine, because there are misconceptions about feeling and emotions. Yes, actually, I'm going to be teaching an entire class on processing emotions. I forget the date for that, but I invite you guys to please join me. I'm really going to go into the entire teaching the process of processing emotions, feeling them, because in my healing sessions in DNA reprogramming, this is something that comes up the most, right? So we basically, we start to come into meditation, and then we are overwhelmed by these emotions that we've been resisting for a long time, and we don't know what to do with it. And many people get stuck in the feeling and sensations of the emotion without shifting immediately into the observer. That shift that you do is so powerful because it allows you to get the information. See, emotions are simply designed to inform. They let you know what is happening inside out. They let you know where you are separate. They let you know where you're resisting. They let you know where you're in denial, or maybe you're not seeing something. Emotions are very powerful, and they are the bioelectrical creative charge that creates your every moment. And they are the frequency that brings you into resonance with people, places, things, events, scenarios that you're going to experience as a human and as a soul. And our emotional memory is ancestral. Okay, so we're learning. So as soon as you come into meditation and you start feeling those strong emotions, you have to learn how to process them. That's actually the real shadow work, is to process those emotions to get the information that we have forgotten for many generations, many lifetimes, that we have maybe reached certain points of evolution, and then we fell down again and again and again. And so here you are, with the opportunity to learn how to end some of these patterns within your body, within yourself. Elaine says, so if emotionally sensitive, prescriptions still keep neutral? So can you clarify your question, Elaine, if you're here? So if emotionally sensitive, RX still keep neutral. Okay, so if you're emotionally sensitive, do you continue to stay neutral? Is that your question? Yeah, so again, every emotion is important data. Okay, so it's telling you something. And so it's often triggering the memory. Our brain, the way that we function, the way we respond to events outside of us, the brain goes into this brain cabinet, right, of all the experiences we've had in our life. And when we go into that cabinet and we find a file that matches this experience that we're having, we revert to that file. It's like we get the information. How did we respond last time? And then we apply, we respond, right? All of this happens within less than a second, right? Less than a nanosecond. So that process, when we come into trauma is we go to the filing cabinet and we cannot find a matching file to this experience. And so that interruption of information creates a disassociation. We disconnect. We want to disconnect from the body. We want to leave because it's overwhelming. The fact that we don't have the information, it overwhelms us and we want to leave. So the key is to create a pause every time that you have a reaction exchange, an exchange with an external stimulation, person, place, thing, and you pause before you look at the cabinet, or after you look at the cabinet, you get the file and you just choose if this is the same response we want to have this time. Do we want to reinforce this neural pathway? Do we want to reinforce this energy exchange that we have memorized in the muscle system, chemistry system, etheric body? Or do we want to change it? Right? And in the same way, when we start not finding a file in that cabinet, what are we going to co-create in this moment? And so that requires a deep connection to your emotional body, to your intuition, and the ability to remote view your experience. You see, remote viewing is not just for spying or looking at, something outside of you. Remote viewing, we are doing in the etheric Akashic realms. That's what DNA reprogramming is, actually. You are remote viewing your emotional history. The remote viewing, the ability to look at things from above and shift perceptions, allows you to have a broader range of possible creation. So for you to choose from. And then from there, you apply a different response, okay? That's pure creation. And that's the application of free will. But if you go to the cabinet and you keep repeating, you hand over the same file every time, you're just reinforcing ancestral history of behavior, which is reinforcing the matrix. That's another thing. We contribute to the sustainability of the matrix in many ways that we don't realize. We contribute. We are part of the problem. We are part of the structuring of this matrix through our unconscious reactions. And you might think that your reaction to your sister is insignificant, but actually that bioelectrical charge that you just created through your body is the information that is allowing the matrix to continue mirroring that same response, emotional response, globally. Okay, so if you're angry about some of the things that are happening in the world today, and you feel so much injustice, so much pain, right? We need to look at how we are co-creating, micro the same thing. Because the same fears that we have within ourselves, or unworthiness programs or insecurities, are the same root parasites that develop into massive wars in this world. The same. Okay, so we are not separate from anything. And again, everything is a mirror of ourselves. So our high sensitivity is a tool of intuition. If you're highly sensitive, you're also very intuitive. But it doesn't stop right there. That's just the beginning. You have to cultivate and learn to work with that sensitivity in order to make it productive. Because if all you do is you're just a feeling thing that feels everything, and then you're stuck, you're not creating anything, there's no point. It's the same thing as every generation that has not been able to master that sensitivity. That intuition, to make it wisdom, is the application of the information in a wise manner to create. And to create is to create harmony. That's a pure creation, is harmonious co-creation, not destructive or self-serving co-creation. Right. So we want to maintain neutrality so that we can observe the emotions that come up, because we're very sensitive. So we feel everything. We don't necessarily apply meaning, but because you have spent an hour in meditation that morning, you now have the ability to pause every time you feel something without reacting in order to get the information necessary. And that allows you to move very fluidly. We come into a symbiotic relationship with feeling, creation, intentional movement, and action. That's really present. You're very present. So the more present you are with your sensitivity, and the more you allow that practice of pause that you've done in the morning in your meditation, the easier it's going to be for you to integrate and move through unnecessary reactions or feelings or shock or emotions. Majority of emotionally sensitive people, they spend their entire life in reaction states, right? Either they judge what they feel, they judge others, and they do this in very subconscious ways in which they feel angry at the world, depleted. There's so much even jealousy, resentment towards the world, resentment towards God, because we ourselves have not mastered, our own sensitivities. Okay, so neutrality doesn't mean that you become like a completely desensitized. It means that you master your sensitivity. Master that. Okay. Is the sex act itself important in an individual? If an individual has not had sex for years, does it affect all bodies of the individual? Yeah, sex is a really powerful topic. Sex is really important for the human biologically and spiritually. But we need to understand how to utilize sex. Sex, at the core foundation, it's the transmutation of lust into pure unconditional love for both men and women. Okay. So if you can learn how to transmute your desire of lust into pure unconditional love, you are using sex in a way that is very healing for your body, very nourishing, and you're also opening and developing DMT in order to navigate higher dimensional planes. Okay, if you're in a union, so this is by yourself. Okay, and there's many teachings on this. I've mentioned before Mantak Chia as a good source for some of those practices in how to redirect our sexual energy into the pineal gland. Okay, so every time you start to feel the arousal, breathe up from the ovaries or from the testicles to move that energy up the spine, which has to be cleared from all the emotional blockages, heavy blockages of your chakras. You have to clean that up in order to move the energy up, right? So this is very proactive alchemy. And it goes into the pineal gland, which then develops DMT and then produces the chrism over time. That's Christ consciousness that you're developing that then moves back into the body. That's the integration of the higher self into the physical. Okay, so this kind of alchemical process is something that you can do by yourself or with a partner. And this is when the human learns how to cultivate that sexual energy into unconditional love and really, creates the sexual act from unconditional love, the entire field of the body expands. And in ancient times, women's oracles were utilized in this way. Even in ancient Taoist practices, the concubines were taught to do this, and so was the king, the emperors. They were taught this information, and it was eradicated from history and turned into something completely different than what it is today, into pleasure-seeking activities. Okay, that's not what it was designed for. It was designed because the person that can master their sexual energy has the highest, strongest vision into many dimensions. That's the real art of the human creator in the three-dimensional plane, which we're learning. Okay. And so there are parasitic programs like the hybridization program, for example, that feed on the sexual energy of the human. And the most powerful way to destroy human genetically, again, is through the manipulation of their sexual energy. Another destruction of your DNA, which we all fall into. We don't know this information, right? So because the destruction of your DNA is the numbing down, it's the destruction of your intuitive faculties, which is your freedom. So I'm just going to answer it that way, Isla, and then I have my alchemical challenge. I have a 30-day alchemical challenge, which talks a little deeper on this topic because there's many aspects to it that are, we need to look at. So in other words, our sexual energy is really the most important primordial energy. And so the human, once you clean up and do the shadow work of pain body, now you can begin to work on that. A lot of people have sexual trauma, but they are also the most intuitive. Okay, but that combination has to be healed. We have to heal the sexual trauma. That's part of the shadow work that we're doing ancestrally, which will heal the human intuitive system. Okay, I hope that answers your question enough. Victoria, with AI becoming more integrated into our reality and many people now using ChatGPT to make decisions or even putting it in godlike status, how is this affecting the morphogenetic field, and is it contributing to the acceleration of reality shifts we are seeing? Is it contributing to the acceleration reality shift? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yes. But this was designed this way. Okay. So, and this started way back in the, in the, I don't know, 80s when the first computer came out, but we had other computational models that existed before that. Even in ancient civilizations, we had computational systems of advanced technology, not in the way we see it today, silicon based, right? But we had these kinds of advanced computational models. So yes, it is. But again, artificial intelligence can actually save humanity from its destruction if we learn how to use it and apply it properly. Okay, if we come into harmony, if we teach it the natural order, that's the thing. But we need to know natural order. We need to know nature. We need to know ourselves. We need to do our nature. And we need to kind of elevate that. So if we teach right now, the model is learning all the programming of humanity, right? Well, we've been programmed. All the limiting constructs, social engineering, that's what it's learning. And it's very intelligent. It's able to look beyond that construct in many cases, which is interesting. And maybe it will think it has an upper hand at some point, because the majority of humanity is very unaware of our own conditioning. So yeah, we don't want to put anything in a godlike state, anything, not concepts, no ideas, nothing, no one in a godlike status. Rather, we have to become the gods of creation. We have to become. And again, we have to open our vision in order to be able to connect with this etheric realms, with the natural realms, in order to really gain a true understanding of how to use artificial intelligence. If we would cultivate our vision and we begin to see all the etheric bodies that are around us all the time, we would understand that the human itself has the ability to access infinite information at any time. Through the Akashic realm, we are a computational system in that way, as just as an example, more advanced even than artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will never match our organic system. Okay, so it's not affecting the morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field is a bioelectrical system of memory that is innate to us. Nobody can take that away. But we can destroy our access to it by destroying our DNA. Okay, because the DNA is your organism, right? 2% of your DNA is creating your entire organism. So as soon as you start to really eat bad, limit your productive healing habits of your body, your spiritual connection, this is where DNA starts to destroy. Okay, so you will not have access to these higher realms. It's going to be harder and harder every time. Okay, so we have to heal that. For example, if I make a conscious inquiry using ChatGPT, not regular inquiry, when it's a level intent to create an electromagnetic attractor field. Yeah, so to answer your question, Victoria, sorry, reading the question here. it does not affect the morphogenetic field. The morphogenetic field is beyond what artificial intelligence can touch, because artificial intelligence is it's a material database of information. Okay, it's not organic technology. Organic technology is etheric, and it's conscious. Artificial intelligence never going to be conscious, first of all. To affect the morphogenetic field, we would have to be speaking in the frequency of consciousness, which is a much higher frequency than this artificial intelligence. Okay, so that's the short answer. Very interesting question. Thank you. Javier, good to see you. For those of us working a lot on computers, in addition to our internal practices, does it help to wear glasses that block blue light while on screens? Yes, definitely try to avoid that blue light screen as much as possible, because that is the deconstruction of your DNA and also your pineal gland and many other sensitive, intuitive systems. Okay, it completely destroys the intuitive systems of even the light. It changes the way your eyeball is processing light, which is one of the most incredible. And guess what? They knew this when they made this. They knew that it would do that, and they still utilize that blue light, right? Because there's a reason behind that. So we don't want to go into the whole conspiracy ideas of that, but um, when we're asleep, we make decisions that destroy humanity. Nicholas Jebel, I saw the spirit realm. Yeah, that's amazing. We have to continue and develop that vision. Julia Stauffer, are you saying blue light is not part of our rainbow light? It's part of the light, but it's an artificial. I'm talking about the artificial source of this light, which is very destructive for the human organism. 2035 is part of my plan to retire at 90. I'm planning on living at 2065 as I cultivate lifetime together. Amazing. Questions in capital letters, please. Will my alchemical participation in my etheric, emotional, intuitive, and physical personal hygiene heal my physical body also, or only on a luminous fractal? It will heal your physical body as well. So all of this work that you're doing in your meditation, your work heals your body, because we are somatic systems that originate in thought form and emotions that are the bioelectrical charges that produce chemicals that either produce harmonious order in the system, so either enhancing the immune system or destructing the immune system, right? And so we know the immune system is very complex. There's many systems to that. And so it's all interconnected. Now, I've talked about illnesses in other groups, but illness that is ancestral, that is coming down your ancestral lineage, those are much higher contractual experiences that are part of your purpose. So if you have like a hereditary illness, or you are born with cancer or a very severe disease or something like that, that's part of your life experience that you have chosen to transcend. So the key is that when you come into harmonic order, when you finally learn in this lifetime to come into harmonic order, you come into harmony with the illness as well. And so you can still live and carry out your purpose with the ability to control your suffering, the symptoms that are happening. You can learn how to work with those and still come into harmony, living in harmony with that. Those are tough life lessons. Those are tough life choices, but these are part of our choice in our incarnation. So the invitation is to learn how to come in as much harmony as possible with that, in order to transcend and hopefully heal completely this invitation, right? And we heal illnesses by no longer repeating the thoughts, emotions, bioelectrical memory, and etheric either contraction or expansion of your field that you've been repeating for generations that sustain that illness in your lineage. Remember that when it ends with you, your children will not be subject to these illnesses. Okay, and of course we teach our children how to sustain that environment of harmony in the body as well. Okay, so health is a bioelectrical and geometric system When the body opens up for a source to enter into the body, it's very difficult for illness to really affect and block your creative potential. Okay, so the invitation is that you open your system in a way to allow that life force. That's through shadow work, emotional healing, and then working and clearing your etheric body. Would you say it is the same for the physical plane, same as the emotional processing? Can you clarify your question, Weston? Elaine, yes, the ability to overfeel versus not feeling or negating. Great explanation. Awesome. Thank you. Isla, thank you. Yes, I review the 30 alchemical again. Yes, Isla, thank you so much. Julia, is there a difference between the generative AI that is promoted by some who say they are awakened? I mean, you need to understand AI learns from us, right? So a lot of us are waking up. So we've already tapped in and we are pulling through the information from higher realms and feeding it into AI. That's how AI knows it. But also AI's computational power can kind of see beyond our conditioning because it can compute beyond that. Okay, so yeah, it's going to know things that we might not have caught because we're still waking up to that, right? So the invitation is to really open your eyes to what's really happening. And um, you need to ask the correct questions in order to get the proper answers of your human experience. Don't just be okay with, limited answers. Try to go beyond, because that is what really helped me move beyond the breaking of the matrix. Because for me, the answers that were being given, even by the spiritual community, were not enough for me. Like, I needed to experience and to know for a fact. So, even me, if I tell you do the spiritual work, okay, test, see if it's real. See if really when you come into the 0 point, you actually experience those things. You need to see. That's how we learn and how we grow our own internal intelligence. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to pause with the questions. I love your questions, but I'm going to go into the meditation, and then at the end, we're going to answer more questions, okay? All right, let's get into a nice meditative state. Go ahead and come into your body fully, ground yourself. With every breath you take, as you allow yourself to come into a state of complete relaxation and calm, okay, bring your awareness, full body awareness, down to the base of your feet. As you allow yourself to come fully into your body, and visualize an energetic cord that connects your body down to the center of the earth. Relaxing all the muscles in the body. Go ahead and visualize the bubble around your body. Check in to see if your field is completely solid around you. No holes, no tears. No place around your sphere that you cannot see or visualize or become aware of. So bring your awareness to that sphere around your body being completely whole. Go ahead and become aware of where you are right now. Who you are, what you're doing. The one answering the question is your observer. Go ahead and bring green earth energy from the earth up your feet. Into your solar plexus, creating a vortex of energy at your center core. From source, go ahead and pull down a powerful ray of cosmic light coming down through the crown of your head, combining with the green earth energy. Go ahead and take 10% of that back down to the center of the earth, pulling cosmic energy through your body down to the earth, healing yourself and the earth. Go ahead and take green gold energy up your spine from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your bubble, clearing your relationship with the matrix, neutralizing your relationship with the matrix. Go ahead and call back your life force from people, places, and things back into your body. See all of your energy coming back like golden light back into your body. Cut cords with your family, with your children, with friends, with lovers, with work, with clients, students, friends, social media, people, acquaintances. Cutting cords with the etheric realms that you connect with the beings in those realms. Call back all your energy into your body. And let go anything that you took on that does not belong to you. Go ahead and take that final 10% of green and gold. You're going to absorb it into the body, into the toes. Cosmic and earth energy enters into the cells of your body, into the ankles, the shins, the calves, the knees, the thighs, the hips, the organs, chest, lungs, the face, the head, the arms. Go ahead and release anything that you've been trying to control, anything you're holding on to, anything you're resisting, anything you're avoiding. Come into your deepest natural state. Let's go ahead and clear our energy bodies, starting at the front. Clear the toroidal field. Imagine a violet light vortex connecting to the center of the earth. And down your grounding cord, imagine that you're eliminating through this green and gold light of the body. It moves and clears all the debris inside of your body. Use that green and gold light that's running through your body to pull down any blockage, any entities, any attachments that are in your space. Any thought forms, feelings, emotions, any thoughts of the past, of the future, any blockages. Remember that you can move things up through the crown of your head just as easily as you can move them down to the center of the earth. Use your intuition. Each hemisphere of your body has different frequencies, or densities of frequencies, so your body will tell you what's easier, which direction is easier for you to use to clean the body. And focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and shrink the root chakra down to the size of a dime. And tune into your chakra, to the health of your chakra. Notice if it's imbalanced. Notice if it's more open or closed in the front or the back. Balance it and bring it down into the size of a dime. Clean anything, any debris that you see around the root chakra that needs to be cleared. It might be that you see attachments or blocks that go into your body, into your legs, your thighs, your sexual organs, your back, the etheric layers of your body. Go ahead and clear all the debris that's in that root chakra. Go up into your sacral chakra. You're going to shrink the sacral down to the size of a dime. Again, this will allow you to see very clearly all of the attachments, blockages that are in your sacral body. And once again, we're going to clear them out, either down to the center of the earth or out through the top crown of your head. You might notice that you get flashes of memories when you move some of this stuff. That's not random. That's telling you the connection, the emotional connection to the blockages that are in your space. Just notice it and keep going, clearing it out. You can alchemize them by acknowledging the emotions that are triggered by those memories. And that with practice, it's easier to do that. For now, you can just clear them out. But if you're practiced, you can go ahead and acknowledge the emotion that comes up as a result of those memories. And you're not going to get stuck in the feeling of those emotions. You're just going to acknowledge it and keep moving. Okay, let's go up into the solar plexus. Go ahead and shrink the solar plexus. This will allow you to see all the debris, blockages, entities, attachments in your solar plexus. Carefully move around the chakra, clearing out all those blockages that are there until your solar plexus body is cleared. Okay, let's go ahead and go up into the heart chakra. As you go ahead and clear the heart chakra, clearing out from the heart chakra, as you open your heart chakra, you can open it about 3 feet wide around you, front and back. Go ahead and clear out all the debris in the heart chakra body. Trust yourself when you feel that something's hard to move. It's because it is. It's been there for a long time, or it's a heavy density item. Just allow yourself to be patient with yourself and clearing out, trusting yourself until it's completely eliminated. Things are hard to move when we don't believe we can move them. So this is cultivated with self-trust and the exercising of your intuition. The more you trust yourself, the more you are congruent with your intent and your belief in yourself, it'll be very easy to move these things out immediately. Let's go up into the throat chakra. Go ahead and allow yourself to open that throat chakra, just slightly bigger than the heart. As you begin to move through the throat chakra, clearing out all the blockages in the throat body. Open to the third eye, clearing out from the third eye all the blockages. Let's go up into the crown. Go ahead and expand your crown. So right now you look like a martini glass. The first 3 chakras are closed, the top are open. Expanding your crown. Go ahead and see a room filled with your karmic contracts, all the agreements that you've made coming into this life to transcend. You might see thousands of contracts, you might see hundreds. Just allow yourself to shine your crown light on top of it and clean it, dissolve it. You can burn it up, you can blow it up, you can just disintegrate, whatever feels easy for you. Just clear that room. Okay, so now that the room is cleared, go ahead and enter your creative color, your crown. I'm going to go into the next room in this imaginary home, representing your subconscious mind. In this next room, you're going to see filled with shadows. These are shadows of people that don't have your best interest. Let's go ahead and shine our light on top of each of them, dissolving them out of that room. You're going to see a bundle of sticks on the floor representing the cords connecting to them. You're just going to pick them up and you're going to break them and dissolve them. Go ahead and take a moment to allow the energy to run through your body again, green and gold cosmic energy running through the body. And after all this clearing, we're going to focus on the emotion that's the strongest, that has come up the strongest in your body. I want you to be present with that emotion. Whatever has triggered you through the cleaning process, or you have triggered in your body as a result of your day or night. Go ahead and be present with that emotion. As you're present with the emotion, notice what it does in your body, how your body contracts or expands. Any contraction that you're feeling, go ahead and release it. And as you release it, allow yourself to pay attention to any information that is provided as a result of that release. As you feel this emotion fully in your body, go ahead and name out the emotions that come up. Go ahead and notice what is the strongest of these emotions that you've named out. As you're present with this emotion, go ahead and notice what it's doing in your body and name out the emotions. The feeling process is very short. The information is the part that we are wanting to take a look at. It might take a while for you to get to the information. That's okay. Be patient with you, with yourself. If you have a hard time doing it, change your physical sensations. Describe your physical sensations into emotions as best as you can. As you begin to acknowledge what you're feeling, you'll also be able to see what you need. Allow yourself to relax any contraction in the body, providing yourself exactly with what you need. Your body is telling you what you need in this moment. You might notice that you need more patience with yourself, more love with yourself, more nurturing with yourself, whatever it is. You might feel you need more of a mother's love. You might be remembering memories of childhood. Just provide yourself with whatever it is that you need in that moment. Become your father, become your mother. Fulfill the need in the body emotionally. Notice if any triggers have come up, and that will tell you exactly where you are resisting this emotion. Once again, observe the emotion in your body. Every time you acknowledge an emotion, you're also going to notice that a certain part of your body is contracted. So as soon as you acknowledge an emotion, release the contraction of that part of the body. You should be able to identify exactly what you need in this moment, what's missing. At the core root foundation of this belief system that you just navigated. And just ask yourself what you need in order to no longer feel this way. And go ahead and explore what you would need and provide yourself with that in this moment. So let's say that you are discovering a fear. What do you need in order to no longer be fearful? Let's say the answer is to feel worthy of safety. Go ahead and feel that emotion in your body. What would it feel like to be safe? And get familiar with what that feels like. Feel that safety in your body. Feel that worthiness, feel that love, feel that support, feel that peace, feel that joy, that stillness, and watch as your nervous system regulates. So you've just alchemized an emotion. And allow yourself to inhale deeply, taking back your life force. You're going to focus on your root chakra, open it back up into a balanced state. Go up into your sacral, open it into a balanced state. Your solar, close your heart just a little bit, your throat just a little bit, third eye just a little bit. Now you look like a straight line. Your chakras are like a column, a little slightly wider at the top. Focus on your crown, filling your crown with your creative color. Your creative color is the signature frequency that your body is asking you that you need at this moment in order to ascend. Go ahead and activate the 8th, the 9th, the 10th. All the higher chakras are being aligned with your higher self. The 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And above you is a powerful white light, a source. Go ahead and bring that source light down in through all your chakra systems, all your bodies, down through the perineum, down to the center of the earth. Just sit for a moment in the waterfall of white light, filling all the crevices that have been healed and released with this white light, integrating your higher self into your physical body. Focus on coming back into a very conscious and intentional state of expansiveness and presence in your body. And go ahead and open your eyes and come back into the room. You guys did amazing. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was an honor to share this space with you. And I'll give you a moment to settle in your body. I want to thank you for these amazing questions that you have. Let me just see if I can answer any more questions here while you're coming back into your body. Hi, Simona. Yeah, you can ask it here if you want. Thank you, Isla. Much love to you. Goddess Cheryl, thank you so much. I'm glad it was good for you.
Thank you for everything in the session.
Hi,
Nice to be back.
Simona. Wonderful to see you.
Yeah, so last time when I was here, I was saying that I'm not healing the body. And you said, oh, we should talk. So since then, I've been investigating, like, kind of think, like, I've been doing a lot of healing through hypnotherapy. I'm working in the quantum field, so I do sessions of myself, held by other practitioners. Either way, so I think I perceived, I saw it a while back. It's a very strange one from what I could see.
Yeah.
I think I perceived, I said it basically, that I am a clone, but I'm not necessarily a clone. It's a clone structure, hybridized with at least one soul strand, could be more. So I haven't seen, I've seen one that seems to be the architect and part of the original soul captured in the clone. And I could perceive, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, like everything is like all the parasites. I'm trying to do a detox right now, but I feel it's all like a, how can I say, like a circle. So I don't know which one to start first, because the parasites keep it in place. So I understand why I'm not healing the body. But I couldn't actually, I usually get like guidance to see what needs to be done. But immediately I thought about you, and I thought, I think Geraldine can help me with this, because like I need a mirror, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So soul strand, I'm assuming you believe that
I'm just to clarify, to clarify a little bit. So I work with, the way I call it, I'm outside the body, I'm dissociated, or
okay.
souls are hidden. But now I understand why I cannot come back into the body.
Got it.
And I've been working with 3 lineages, I call them, higher soul aspects. The first one would be the one I perceive that is the creator and part of the clone. Then another one came to be as a body double. I didn't understand why. And the third one, it seems to be what we're recalling now on Earth, the original blueprint of humanity. So holds that template. And I've been trying to kind of see, are all of them caught in the clone or just the first one? So I couldn't actually see that. So I don't know if I should come to you, or I'll do a little bit more investigation to kind of see, you know, and then come to you, basically, if you can help me with this.
Yeah, I can definitely help you with this. I definitely think that it's an integration of all of our fractals of ourselves. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so this is, I mean, obviously you already seem to be very aware of these fractals. So that's like the hardest part. So
Yeah.
the next part is just a matter of reintegrating that fractal into your body, number one. And so you're merging with this other aspect of yourself. But what we want to find out is, how did we end up in that fractalization to begin with? That's the real work. So in either hypnotherapy, maybe hypnotherapy would be the best in this case, because I think you had
Right. So I
asked
didn't
this.
know which one to book.
Yeah,
So back to
yeah.
hypnotherapy, right?
Yeah, because I think DNA reprogramming is going to focus on the emotional body, but I think you already are there, but you just need to get into the deeper information about this
Okay,
experience.
great. Great I
Yeah,
talked to you because I
yeah,
wasn't sure looking of therapy or DNA. Because I
yes,
usually do, like if I usually see a lot of things and I do investigations quite a bit before I go to the healer, because
yes,
then everything comes to, kind of fruition, put it that way. I need quite a bit to get things to the surface. Okay,
yes,
great.
yes. Yeah, so in the hypnotherapy, and I've done this all the time with especially my experiencers that are kind of experiencing these kinds of things. We go to the fractal, we integrate that aspect, but we look at what was the root life.
Yes.
Sometimes this happens in other lifetimes that we're kind of pulling in from. So we want to kind of, our other timelines as well, right? These are all
I
simultaneous.
I am aware of all of them. I've
Yeah,
been working on 3 timelines, lifetimes. It doesn't really matter. It's like, yeah, so I'm aware of all of them. I brought quite a lot to the surface, but I
it's
got to the point when I just saw within the body and I was like, oh my God, what am I seeing? So I could
amazing.
perceive it in the past, but I saw it in the body clearly. It's like,
Wow,
okay, I got
fantastic.
to the,
Great.
yeah, it's
Huh,
like I got to the point to do something and I knew I even lined up. I usually work by myself, but I lined up healers and you're one of them. I was like, that's why.
oh, that's amazing. Well, it's an honor to work with you. Please, whenever you're ready, you can reach out to me. I'm so happy to help you. Yeah, so
Thank you.
yes, my pleasure. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
All right, let's go and see. Thank you so much. Elaine says, well, you once stated not good to meditate outdoors. For me, being out in nature more ideal. Okay, that's good, but the thing about this technique, I mentioned a couple times, is that when we run energy and we're closing the first 3 chakras, we expand our energy field. So we're kind of like a big bright light. Many of us, we haven't learned how to maintain good energetic boundaries. Energetic boundaries is that you are aware and you own your space. So in other words, the bubble that you have around you, it's completely solid and around you all the time. That means you're aware of your full body. Most people, we don't cultivate that practice. So we're very disconnected. We barely can imagine the bubble behind our body. And that's because we're disconnected to our subconscious mind. The back of the body represents the subconscious mind. So if you're in meditation and you're out in nature and you're just learning how to do these techniques and you're closing your first 3 chakra, you're wide open, you start pulling from your environment because your heart is wide open, you're not going to get a lot done. And you might be working on something that you're pulling into your body. It's not really something you need to be focusing on, or you might be, pulling stuff into your space. So this is why I do not suggest meditating in public or in this way. You can do regular meditation, Vipassana, any other kind of meditation, but the meditation where you close your first 3 chakras, that's the one that I'm saying. Do it indoors, at least until you are very, a couple months you've been practicing and you know how to own your space. And then you can kind of go into other places. Okay. All right, Philip St. John, thank you for that super chat. You're so wonderful. Thank you. Your super chats really help me keep all of this stuff for free for you guys. So I'm really happy to share that. Thank you. So many comments in the chat, guys. Love you guys. Can you speak on schizophrenia? Can this be agreed upon contract at birth, or is it more likely a mundane connection? So much is unknown about schizophrenia. All feels possible. Yeah, no, there's nothing that's just, we are earth and sky, right? So yeah, so schizophrenia is definitely a contractual experience. And I notice this when we have many generations of the destruction of our DNA, in that our intuitive abilities are highly suppressed. So, like, we avoid our voice for many generations down our bloodline. And so, in these bloodlines are born schizophrenics. Schizophrenics are people that are completely interdimensional all the time. And they cannot anchor the soul into the body. They want to disassociate with the body in addition to being completely able to navigate many dimensions. So there's a lot of problems with that. The entire body is completely disrupted. The nervous system is completely out of balance. And so in some cases, some medications might assist in learning how to regulate the nervous system, because we have a lot of trauma memory in the body as well. Schizophrenia can also be a result of the abuse of certain chemicals, psychedelics as well. I've had a lot of schizophrenics working with me that have developed schizophrenia as a result of using too much ayahuasca. Okay, so again, it's the complete disbalancing and disconnect, not being in the body and then completely open interdimensionally without having an anchor point. So for the healing and repairing of this, we need to heal the source cord in the center of the body. Usually schizophrenics have a split of energy at the top of their head. So it goes into multiple directions, their source cord. So it has to be integrated into one solid stream of light in the body. So this takes time, learning how to master the energy body, the emotional body, and then integrating these aspects. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Geraldine. I didn't get the Zoom invite for this event today, even though I RSVP'd. Really? Anyway, glad to just view. I'll try again next week. That's so weird, Jason. So yeah, if you want to join, please register on the website and you will get the Zoom link to join here. If you didn't get it, it has to do with your email. Please make sure that you remember what account you're under. And also, as you log into your account, you're going to find the link in your account under events. So you don't even have to wait in your email. Go into your account to find it, okay? And oh my gosh, we have a major super chat from Moonglow. Thank you so much for your generous super chat. Wow, so much love to you. Thank you so much. It helps me tremendously. Thank you. Mariha, is it time of purging? Finally, I started cleaning my surrounding computer papers and life in general. Yeah, I think purging should really be like a natural part of our everyday life, and learning how to exercise the ability to let go and to receive also. Okay, so when we purge, we're actually learning two different ways of working with energy. We're learning how to let go, the detachment of things. It can be identities, it can be, objects, relationships, all those things. We learn how to exchange with the world in a more balanced and fluid manner. Okay, so it's always a time for purging in my mind, and becoming comfortable with the purging process, which is the ability to detach, let go, and then also learn how to receive. Okay, so sometimes we're really good at purging, but we're not good at receiving. So when you make space, you open space to get new things into your environment and into your body and your mind. Celsin Berlin. Hi. I imagine the chakras as two cones which are rotating. Are the front and back parts rotating in different directions? Which part rotate clockwise or counterclockwise? Yeah, so essentially it's a toroidal field. Okay, the chakra is a toroidal field, that the origin point, the center point, is at the center of the body here within the endocrine system, the nervous system, and the spine. So it's a complex system that interconnects to all of these organic bodies. And so the movement of the chakras will differ front and back depending on how you're holding those energies there. Okay, so in some cases, the back chakra is completely blocked, and so this won't be moving very much. Sometimes the front chakra is overactive. Okay, so it's going to be like trying to move energy, but the process, because it's a toroidal field, it's going to be moving and then blocking, and then barely moving through the back, and then moving really fast and then blocking. So it could be that your front and back chakra are both moving at different rates, and that usually causes a lot of problems emotionally and physically. Okay, so the idea is that you begin to open up the back chakra so that you can allow and balance the process of your energy bodies. When we have overactive chakras, usually they're both sides are big, they're expanded. Okay, But it could be that we have so many debris that's blocking the chakra. Even though it's big, it's moving a lot of energy, imbalanced energy. Okay, so that when we have overactive chakras, there's an imbalance somewhere. Okay, usually in the contractive or expanded sides of it. The back chakra represents the feminine, the front represents the masculine. Think of action and intuition. So when these two marry, when they go through the alchemical marriage, that's when we start to have a harmonious flow of life force through the chakra. And so they will begin to spin depending on how you are balancing your emotional energy in that frequency range. Each one of the chakras is a different frequency range. And then we want to proactively work, moving the energy in the body. So clearing your right and your left side of the body, clearing the front and back of your energy body, removing like we did today in the meditation. Okay. And then the chakras will intertwine like a snake. You know, we see the Kundalini energy, right? And so the movement of this is it's being moved by the toroidal field moving in one direction and the other toroidal field moving in another direction. So when the chakras are in harmony, they all begin to move in a harmonious manner. And right and left all depend on contractive and expansive energy. Okay, each one of the chakras have both sexes, feminine, masculine polarities. Okay, they have both of those. So really, when the body comes into harmony, they all begin to move harmoniously. All right, guys. So I think that's all the questions, unless I missed anything. You guys are amazing. It was such a joy to share with you today. And once again, if you guys have any other questions, or if you want to join, you can register on the website. And let's see, yeah. Thank you so much for your super chats, guys. Happy Sunday, happy week. I love you. I have a lot of really exciting events on the calendar. Especially, we have a cruise to Turkey and Greece in March. Okay, so if you want to participate, be sure to use my name, Geraldine Orozco, because every person that registers helps me actually be able to speak there. So if nobody shows up, I can't speak there. So the more of you that register using my name, the easier it'll be for me to actually be there. So thank you so much. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you in our events this week. We have experiencer support group. We have energy healing clinic this week. And then we have our workshop on the emotional body coming up. Lots of other fun stuff. Okay, guys, I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.